Student organizations have a strange operational problem. Every year, leadership turns over, membership records fragment, institutional memory disappears, and operational responsibilities become tribal knowledge scattered across spreadsheets, Slack channels, and personal email accounts. The Penn Post is a small organization, but the class of problem is much broader. Transient operators, fragmented tooling, unstructured operational information, and no persistent system of record. So I wanted to see what it would look like to build a Foundry-native operational infrastructure layer for a student organization using ontology-backed workflows and AIP augmentation. The platform is structured around a small ontology representing the operational state of the organization. Core objects include members, articles, notifications, validation workflows, validation responses, and filing or compliance objects generated from uploaded organizational documents. The philosophy here was not to build a dashboard, but an operational manager, something capable of orchestrating workflows, reconciling fragmented information, and preserving institutional continuity across leadership transitions. The first major problem was identity reconciliation. Membership data existed across multiple, partially inconsistent sources: Slack exports, spreadsheets, alumni lists, and manual records. The ontology distinguishes between confirmed members, alumni, affiliates, and other unresolved identities. Because members exist as ontology objects, rather than spreadsheet rows, the system can preserve lifecycle state, communication history, article associations, and validation history over time. But the more interesting part is the operational loop built on top of that ontology. An operator can trigger a validation workflow directly from Workshop. That action creates a validation object and fires an automation pipeline. The automation generates personalized Google form links containing pre-filled member information and dispatches them through a Dockerized Flask notification service integrated with the Gmail API. This was important because the actual users of the system are not onboarded into Foundry directly. Foundry acts as the operational backbone, while external users interact with familiar consumer services like Gmail and Google Forms. Each user receives a personalized validation request. When the form is completed, responses flow into Google Sheets, are ingested through Foundry connectors, transformed, reconciled against ontology objects, and used to update operational state. So instead of a disconnected spreadsheet response, the system closes the operational loop and updates the organization's persistent state model. The second class of problem was organizational obligations that exist only inside documents nobody remembers to read. Student organizations accumulate filings, reports, annual registrations, and compliance documents that become effectively invisible after leadership transitions. So I started building an ingestion and tracking workflow around organizational documents stored in Google Drive. This is where AIP becomes operationally useful. Rather than using LLMs as a chatbot interface, the system here uses AIP as a structured extraction engine. AIP parses uploaded filing documents and extracts structured operational information: filing type, jurisdiction, deadline cadence, responsible entity, confidence level, and future obligations. In other words, the system converts unstructured organizational entropy into structured operational infrastructure. What was previously just a PDF sitting in a Google Drive folder now exists as an ontology object with a deadline, ownership context, and the ability to trigger future workflows and notifications. The important part is not the specific nonprofit filing. The important part is the pattern: ontology-backed workflows, augmented by AI extraction and external orchestration. The project is intentionally small in scale, but the operational pattern is much broader. Most organizations, especially transient or fragmented ones, suffer from the same core problems: fragmented state, informal workflows, institutional memory loss, and operational obligations trapped inside unstructured systems. What Foundry makes possible is treating operational state as a persistent ontology rather than a collection of disconnected tools. Workflows become orchestrated state transitions. Institutional memory survives personnel turnover. And AIP becomes a mechanism for converting operational noise into structured infrastructure. the point of the project ultimately wasn't building a better dashboard. It was exploring what it looks like when an organization's operational memory becomes part of the system itself.